Hi everyone, I'm Rahmat Empowerment Wala, lead facilitator, Rehan School Online Academy. I welcome all of you, my wonderful participants here in this session, the session called GUPSHUP session with Rehan School students, a freestyle chit chat session where one of our esteemed and special guests appears and talk to our wonderful students and give them opportunity and exposure to learn from them. So tonight is 30th of August 2025. Again, a wonderful Saturday where we are having this wonderful session. And the time is 7 p.m. UTC plus 5, which is Pakistan Standard Time. So tonight we have with us Jerome Glenn from Washington, D.C., United States. Jerome is a futurist. So let's know more about him, what futurist does, and what does it mean by futurist. So Jerome, first of all, welcome to Rehan School's GUPSHUP session. I'm highly thankful, highly obliged for your time and for your presence. Thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. Now I'll request you to talk and address to our students. Tell them about yourself or anything you want to tell them. Over to
Right.
you, Jerome.
A futurist is not somebody who spends a lot of time saying this is what will happen. Although, like any human being, we also make guesses about the future, also, like everybody. But a futurist, a professional futurist, is one who does not say there's one future. They say, well, there's one future that'll be, but we don't know what that is. What we can know is we can know what are the range of possibilities. If this, then that. If this, then that. We all do this ourselves. If now, if you are in a car driving at nighttime with maybe your parents, and if the car, if it's going slow and the headlights are going out in front, they're not too strong, but they're good enough when you're going slow. But if the car speeds up and the headlights don't look further, then you can crash. Same thing with society. Because society is speeding up, we have to look further into the future to give us more time to think about what to do to make it good versus bad. So futurists have different methods. We have over 37 different methods of looking at the future. So there's no one right way to do it because nobody knows the truth about the future. We can know the truth about the past and the present, but not the future. What we can know is what are possible alternative futures, what actually could be. So if we take something like artificial intelligence, we might say, if we don't have regulations, then sometime in the future, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it may get out of control. Now, the students will spend the majority of their life with artificial super intelligence. Majority is just like the teachers have spent the majority of their life with internet. They can't imagine doing anything without internet. Well, for your future will be you can't imagine doing anything without super intelligence. Three kinds of AI. The first is narrow intelligence. It has a narrow purpose. It is to diagnose cancer. It is to drive a car. It is to write your school report. It has a specific purpose. The second kind is called artificial general intelligence. And that is like an artificial intelligence that can make up its own mind. It can rewrite its code. It can get smarter and smarter and smarter. Now, we take a while to read a book. But Ada for artificial intelligence can read all the books almost at once. So it can learn faster. And so the way AGI, artificial general intelligence, begins is not how it will be a month later, and a month after that, and a month after that, until it becomes super intelligence. Super intelligence is more intelligent than all of humanity together. And it emerges from general in a way that we don't understand. And so it will do things that we don't understand. That's if it's not controlled. So when we talk about future stuff, looking ahead to buy time to find out what to do, superintelligence is not here for some years. So people will say, well, don't worry about it. I say, no, no, no. Now you have to worry about it. Because if you don't shape how general gets created, then you can't control how super comes from general. Right? So there's an example of where you have to think ahead as a futurist to see what's possible and then act on it now before you lose control later. So that's what futurists do.
That's amazing. So is there something to worry about, Jerome, in our
Of course,
future?
of course. But now,
Right?
before I say this,
Yeah,
I want to do a preference.
yeah.
Your parents can tell you about the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States.
Mm,
And this is during the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s. The world thought we were going to have World War III nuclear bombs all over the place. They thought that was the future.
mm,
Sometime because the historians tell us whenever two tribes or groups fight each other, they eventually use the weapons of the time. Well, the weapons during the Cold War were nuclear bombs. We didn't use them.
yes.
This is important because we, the, the Soviet Union and the United States shared the concern of loss of control of a nuclear arms race. So they had to have some rules, some regulations, some treaties to prevent that future happening. And we
Mm,
did it, but people thought it was not possible. I want the students always to remember when I say something that's coming up that's something to worry about, it doesn't mean we can't solve the problem because the majority of the world thought we were going to have World War III. Some people said, I know it may be difficult to prevent it, but we have to try. The moral position is you have to try, even if you think it's impossible. Doesn't matter. You have to try. Okay, some things to worry about. One, called artificial biology. Artificial biology is where you sit in front of a computer like right now and you say, give me the genetic capabilities to have a sticky surface. So you have a whole bunch of molecular combinations in files, large file. Then you say, okay, also find out the genetic material to make something that's very, very small and round or sphere, like a little ball. So then you get all that genetic information. And then you say, get something that is alive that moves forward. So you get all that. So you put all these things together into a new DNA that's never been there before. Because you're taking, because it's synthetic biology, like synthesis, you're synthesizing biology. You're taking genetic material from different species, from trees, from people, from ducks, from elephants, from pigeons, and you can put them together into a new species. Now, what I just described is a future vacuum cleaner. In other words, you could grow little tiny balls that are sticky and you put them in a corner of your room, hundreds of them, thousands of them, because you can grow them in a petri dish very fast. And at night time they roll around your house and picking up all the dust and getting to the corner. So the next morning You don't vacuum the place. You just take these little things and put them in the compost pile or throw them out. The next day you grow some more. So that would be synthetic biology. Now, think of all the things nature can do that you can't do. A lot. If we learn how to get those capabilities into various new species, then we would be able to do all kinds of things in the future, like curing diseases, like making new kinds of building material. It's incredible possibilities in synthetic biology. Now, this is what you have to worry about. Someone can also make a virus or a bacillus that's deadly with nothing able to kill it. Yeah. Now some terrorists say, well, they want to wipe out one group. And some terrorists say they want to wipe out everything. You know, like in the old story, uh, in the Jewish Bible, when they talked about, and of course, Abraham religions also, all of them have this early story about the flood, that God said, people are getting too wicked. We got to clean the house and start over again. Well, some person might have the same idea. They might say, look around the world. There's people that are nice and there's a lot of people that are not nice. Maybe we have to do the same thing. So you could make a virus or a bacillus and enter that into different systems around the world and kill. And if you have what's called an incubation period, it's the time when the bacillus or the virus comes into you when you start to get sick. That period is called the incubation period. Now, in some diseases, the incubation period is like a day, sometimes 3 days. But in leprosy, it can be as long as 15 years. So if you did synthetic biology that took that genetic capability of a long incubation period, people could get infected and they wouldn't know they're infected, reinfect other people as well. And then all of a sudden, people started falling over, dying. All right, that is a nasty idea. So we have to figure out how to regulate this now, because that capability is getting here now, but we have to find out. Like, so the laboratories that do this work should have rules, like we have rules with nuclear reactors. You know, you build it a certain way so it's safe. So the same idea. That's one. Another one I mentioned already is the loss of control of artificial intelligence. Now, someone might say, well, so what? So AI is doing all kinds of things. Maybe everything's okay. Here's one of the problems. The electricity that advanced technology, artificial intelligence needs is a lot more than today. According to Eric Schmidt, who used to be the head of Google, who sort of knows what he's talking about, said the
Yes.
electricity requirement for the next 20 years for all this artificial intelligence, just in the United States, would be 900 gigawatts. Now, no, not 900, no, 92, sorry, 92 gigawatts. Now, a large
Okay.
nuclear reactor is just one. The United States is going to build 20 nuclear reactors in 20 years? I don't think so.
Yes.
So that means that the AI is going to say, hey, I need more electricity. Who's going to be controlling the electric switchings? Artificial intelligence. So if it's a choice between humans getting electricity or artificial intelligence getting electricity, who do you think is going to win?
Of
Right.
course, the
Now,
other
if we
species.
now, so if we had electricity shortages all around the world, that would be
Mhm.
chaos. So those are two things to
Mhm.
worry about.
Okay,
I would
Joe.
say they're the main two right now. And of course, oh, sorry, the third one, of course, is climate change.
Hmm.
I'll finish up on this so we can
Sure.
interact on this last one. Now, a
Sure.
lot of people talk about climate change and global warming, about the temperature and the sea level rising. Like Bangladesh, your neighbor there has got a real problem because they're low, as you know, and they got the salt water would come in and destroy the agriculture. Now,
Mm.
those are problems, but that's not what finishes us off. What finishes us off, this is assuming no change, right? This is a projection. Remember, the idea of the future is to figure out how not to have the bad thing, but you have to understand the bad things first. So the idea is that as the as the global warming continues, the oceans have what we call it a conveyor belt. So water will go along, and then as it gets cold, goes up the north and way up the north, way down south. It sinks down because it's colder than the other water. But it brings with it oxygen, and then it goes along below, and then it starts to warm up, and then comes up again. So this is like a circulation. This is why the oceans are healthy. They have oxygen in the oceans, but the the circulation is beginning to slow down because of climate change. When it slows down enough, then a little tiny organism that don't live in oxygen, when so as a result, they don't grow right now much. They grow a little bit, but they die. They're very small. But then if there's no oxygen to kill them, then they grow very rapidly. And they grow all throughout the oceans. Now, this particular kind of microorganism, when it dies, it releases a gas, hydrogen sulfide gas, which is a poison gas. Now, if you've ever been to a swamp or a pond with water that doesn't move, you smell it and you smell that sort of rotten egg smell. That's hydrogen sulfide. Now, that doesn't kill you because it's mixed with all the rest of the air all around you. And you
Mm.
don't stay long, you leave.
Yes.
But what happens if the whole oceans of the world became like that?
Wow.
You can't escape it. That's a poison gas. Now, by my projection, we would not, and this is assuming we continue to be stupid and don't do anything. But if we don't do anything, by about 100 years from now, uh, yeah, about 100 years from now, maybe maybe a little more than 100 years, this condition will occur.
Okay.
Now, so the long-term issue, you said what to worry about. The long-term issue is extinction of the human species, not simply the temperature and not simply the sea
Yes.
level rise. So we have to take it seriously now, so we never get to that point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jerome, for enlightening these issues. So addressing to 10, 12 years students here with us, what you can tell them about artificial intelligence so they can understand
Right.
that.
Okay. Now, think of like the two of us talking here back and forth have glasses,
Yes.
right? So I am augmenting my brain because my eyes are attached to my brain to see
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not my enemy, it's my friend.
Yes.
Now, of course, the difference with artificial intelligence is it can redo its molecular structure and turn into something else. So it's a little bit different than that, but it's a similar principle. You can think of AI as your tutor, as your great guru to ask questions. But you have to learn critical thinking as well, because
Mm.
just like people are not always right, AI is not always right either. So you have to know what's real and what's not real. How do you make it just because someone can send you a picture that's made by artificial intelligence and you don't know if it's real or not? So you have to observe the world, learn as much as you can, as fast as you can by observing the world now. Learn from the world, as it said, And so that you start to develop mental models of what's real and what's not real. So when you get artificial stuff, you're not going to be manipulated as much. Now, many of the jobs that people have today can be done better by artificial intelligence and robots. AI and robotics will merge, or they're merging now, but they're going to merge more. So, how do you make a living in the future if those jobs are not there? And the answer is you are the source of your future. An obvious point, but people forget because we're right now around the world, our education systems, you may be an exception, our education systems get you to fit in to something. And then when you go to the university, you fit in to that course. And then when you get a job, you fit in to that job. But if that job is not there, you can't fit into something that's not there. So the idea is to learn who you are, to empower yourself as you're teaching them, so that you understand what you're interested in. How do you then, as you develop what you're interested in and those interests, then how do you connect through the internet and artificial intelligence to markets, people around the world who will pay for it? For example, let's say I was going to do this talk. I could have put out a little note in social media and around the world and say, I'm going to be on this talk. If you would like to observe the results of this talk, send €1 or €2 or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's say out of the whole world, maybe only a few hundred people are interested. Well, that's enough for a very fancy dinner.
Yes.
So in the old days, you had to go to a job to, and the market was right there. You'd walk to your job, you'd drive to your job, and that's it. But now you're the source of your job. It's what you want to be, what you want to do, how you self-actualize. But then between now and when you're, let's say, 20 or 25, your job is to find out how to find out to connect to people worldwide that might pay a small amount of money, very small, for what you're interested in doing. Someone might say, I'm interested in the history of Pakistan. How many people are interested in the history of Pakistan from the point of view of a young child? Well, there might only be 100 people around the world. Are you frozen?
No, no, I'm listening.
Okay, all right. So the idea is to find markets for what you're interested in rather than find a job, because we think there'll still be many jobs. I'm not saying they're all going away, but a
Yeah.
lot of them will go away, and you should prepare for this. And I believe the way you prepare for this is to know yourself, explore your own talents, your own interests, and then is like, what are your hobbies? Then how do you connect your hobby or your interest to markets or people around the world? Because, when you become another 10, 15 years, we're looking at 8 billion people or more, 9 billion people in the world. That's a lot of people. Out of that, you only need 0.00000001 to make you a good income.
Yes.
And you're making a living out of being what you want to be. And if the world starts to move to this what I call a self-actualization economy, if the world moves this direction, then people start to be so busy being themselves that they don't have to give the other person a hard time. Why would I give you a hard time? I'm so busy being me. I'm liking what I'm doing. I don't want to stop. Why would I stop you? You only have competition when it's the same thing. You compete over oil, or you compete over this job, or you compete over whatever. But no one's better at being me than I am. I can't be as good at you as you are. I mean, there's no way I can be as good at you as you are. So there's no point in that competition.
Thank you so much, Jerome. Thank you so much. Now I'll request students to please raise your hands if you want to talk to Jerome, if you want to ask any question. Jerome would be generous to answer your questions. Okay. Hareem Fatma, you are the first one who raised your hand. So Hareem, please introduce yourself first and then ask your question. Make sure you are clear.
Okay, sir. My name is Kareem Fatma Freelancing Wali, and I live in Multan, Punjab, Pakistan, and I'm a student of Rehan School Online Academy Foundation level. And first of all, Assalamu alaikum everyone. And
Wow.
आप कैसे हैं?
मैं ठीक हूँ हरीम. Please talk to Jerome. Ask some question.
How are you, Jerome?
Good or reasonable.
Sorry, sir, I didn't said you, sir, because I know you're very grown up and I forgot it. I take excuse of it. And my question is that first of all, I would like to ask, how are you, sir?
I am reasonable. That's how I am.
Okay. So my question is, out of all big problems in the world, which one do you think people don't take seriously enough, and why?
Okay, I'm glad you asked it with the last part, because one thing I usually don't like, you did it right, but what people will say, what's the number one problem? The number one problem is thinking that there's number one problem. But what you did is you did an interesting thing. You said that they're not taking seriously. That we can talk about. I would say they're not taking seriously the loss of control of artificial intelligence that could wipe us out. And the reason I say that it's not being taken care of, because there are many, 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 many conferences. As we speak, there are discussions around the world. There's books being written. All kinds of things are going on about AI, but they're talking about the narrow AI. They're talking about the stuff today. They're saying, like, you know, who is liable if the robot car crashes into somebody? Okay, that's an important issue, yes, but that's contemporary. That's the current stuff, and that's being addressed in the UN. There's been two United Nations General Assembly resolutions on that. There's a commission coming up on it. There's all kinds of things around the world being done about narrow, but not general. In fact, the last big meeting on AI was in Paris. And the first two speeches had the same sentence in there that went, we're talking about science fact. We're not talking about science fiction. In other words, they were not going to look at anything in the future. They're just going to talk about AI right now. Now, what was science fiction 5 years ago is what they are discussing in Paris now. So we should look 5 years out at least, or 10 years out. We should do that. And so I would say that the biggest problem that's not being attended to is the loss of control of superintelligence. That's not being done, even though there's much work. There is so much work on AI, contemporary stuff right now. I don't get involved. I say, yes, you're doing fine. Go ahead. But look over the hill, look a little further in the future. That we got to address now, because if it evolves without controls, we have to pray it turns out okay.
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you. So thinking
And
ahead is the
thank
answer.
you, sir, for giving me the answer. And I'm really happy that you're here with us today. And thank you for giving me time.
Thank you. Salam. Thank you.
Thank you, Harim. Thank you. Zonera Tech Wali, you are next. Please ask your question. Introduce yourself first.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum everyone. This is Nara Technology Valley. I'm 11 years old, student at Rehan School Online Academy from Pakistan, Haripur, and living in UAE, Ajman. So, Assalamualaikum, sir. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you.
So, welcome, sir. Today, I have a question to you that how do you think students today can use technology in a positive way to shape a better future?
Okay, good. I think what you can do is does your school has internet access?
Yes.
Good,
Absolutely,
good.
Jerome.
Now,
Absolutely.
there are several, have you used any of the AI, artificial intelligence programs so far?
No, I have started it with Rehan School.
Okay, because one of the things I would suggest is that there are free, no cost AI services. And one of the things to do is you could ask the same question to 3 or 4 different services so that you would learn they're not all the same. And then you start to, and then if you're not satisfied with the answer or you want to test the answer, you can say back to the AI, what is your proof? And then it comes back and says, well, how do you know that's true? So engage it as if it was, it's not a living being, but you can engage it as if it was. You go back and forth and talk through it, and let it, in a sense, get you to ask better questions. You probably have heard from wise people over history saying, you know, a good answer to a dumb question doesn't matter. Better a so-so answer to something that's important. So what are the important questions? What are the important questions for you and your friends? And you can collaborate together. What are better questions? And then if you get certain answers from the AI, check it with other AIs. You can use, there's different kinds of AIs. And so you engage it to exercise your brain. Right now, there is a worry that children will just nod their heads to the answers and say, blah, 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 and therefore they're not thinking. That's not good. So you want to engage it and criticize or say, what about that? Different, so that you're thinking. It should force you to think rather than simply believe anything. So it should help you in your critical thinking.
So, Jerome, to tell you a little about Rehan School. So, Rehan School's curriculum is based on artificial intelligence and communication and confidence building. So I think it's the first AI based curriculum school, and the students here for their tasks they have to use artificial intelligence tools to complete their task on daily basis. So they are using Chat GPT, they are using
Good,
Grok. We are giving the task to them about coding with AI, the vibe coding, which is called. They just need to give the prompt, and apps and
right,
websites interfaces come alive. So they have to use artificial intelligence on daily
good,
basis for their tasks.
good. They also, you might want to then compare prompts. Who's got the most interesting prompt today?
Absolutely. There's a competition going on there.
That's
Thank
good.
you, Jerome. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you, sir, for answering my question.
thank you, Zanera. Thank you so much. Yes, Mehak Noor AI Wali, you are next. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Mehak Noor Ayali
Alaikum salam.
and I am proud student at Rehan School and Academy in level 1 in Dolly night shift class and I live in Muzaffargarh from Punjab, Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum Sir Jerome, how are you?
Alaikum salam. Fine.
Okay. So sir, today I have a question with you. My question is, what's the biggest challenge you have faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
No, say that again.
What's the biggest challenge you have faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
I'm still not understanding.
The biggest
The,
challenge you have ever faced, Jerome, in
oh,
your career,
biggest
and
challenge. Ah,
how did you
good.
face it? How did you
Okay, thank
resolve
you.
it?
Yeah, I just missed the first part.
No problem.
The biggest challenge. Well, one, I guess, was I flunked out of the university. because I was wrestling. I was on the wrestling team and I was doing all kinds of different things. And I was not studying as much as I should have. But
Okay.
what I did is I immediately went to another university part-time and I had a full-time job. And when I had all this extra stuff to do, I was more disciplined in my time. And then I came back to the original university and ended up in the honors program. So I ended up in philosophy in the honors stuff. So I did the extreme reverse of flunking out, coming out the other direction. But I guess the way I overcame it was I said, okay, let's continue somewhere else and let's work as well. And so I didn't simply say, oh, I failed. I said, oh, okay, now I got to do something different. That's not a great answer, but that's what I did. Trying to think of what other great challenges. Most of the challenges I face, I just work hard at. Like I just finished a book of or the State of the Future, the State of the Future 20.0, that you can get also PDF from our website. It's 500 pages.
Wow.
That's a challenge to write a book and it's detailed book
Yes.
with a lot of references and web links. And I guess part of overcoming the challenge is to overcome my own laziness, to challenge myself, to say, doesn't matter, you got to do it. I just pushing forward and pushing forward. So I guess the main challenge is to challenge myself. And that's how I get over the challenge of big books and other sorts of stuff to do. The other one too is I am working with many different organizations to address the artificial general intelligence regulation issue. So the challenge was, how do you get the world to wake up? And I'm working with, and so my answer to that challenge was to contact many different people and to have them contact their countries to put in the speech of their president at the UN. Pakistan could do this. Put it at a speech at the UN next month. It's a big meeting at the
Hello.
UN. And in that speech, they could say, we need a General Assembly session on the future of AI. So we'll see in a month if I responded okay to that challenge.
Maybe you will. All the best to that, Jerome.
Thank you, Sir Jerome. And Sir Jerome, I have one more question.
Okay.
What's something you wish more people understood about your work or your field?
What I wish I understood more about my work.
People understood more about your work in your field.
Okay. Is that that I'm not predicting the future. Because people keep in articles, they say, oh, well, he predicts the future. He's a futurist. No, we don't predict. That's the business of crystal ball people, of palm readers, that's their business. I don't do
Yes.
that. I'm saying probability. What's the possibility of things? If this, then that happens. If that, then that happens. All right. That's what I'd like them to understand about my work, is that I'm not predicting the future. I'll take a bet, but I'm not professionally predicting the future. Professionally, we're looking at, here's the possibilities. Like I talked about climate change. If there's nothing to happen, this may happen. If it does happen, then we have a whole new energy base, et cetera, and so forth. So I would say, good question. Thank you. It's I want people to understand I don't know the future.
People should know this. Jerome is not a tarot card reader.
Right.
Thank you, man.
Although I think they're interesting ideas because they put stereotype images next to each other that causes you to think. That's
Yes.
interesting. Anyway.
Thank you,
Thank you
man.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Sir Jerome. And thank you so much, Sir Ahmed, for giving me this type of opportunity.
Thank you for your presence. Thank you,
You're
man.
welcome.
Thank you.
Jerome, do you have some little more time?
Okay.
Can we extend it 5-10 more minutes?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ibrahim, please introduce yourself and ask your question. Make sure you're clear.
Yes, sir. So,
It's on mute. You got to unmute yourself.
No, he's yelling at someone. Please stop talking so I can talk. Yes,
Yeah,
Ibrahim.
yes. Yeah, just wait a second.
Sure, sure.
Oop, he's muted again.
Yeah, so my name is Ibrahim Cherwal. I'm from Rehan Online Academy, second best student. I'm 13 years old and I'm from Gujranwala, Pakistan. So my question is, what should, if you were 13 years old and today, what should skill you will learn for future?
Thinking, how to think. What is real and how do I know that? What is real and how do I know it? And that would be it. How to think, how to think like that. Thinking, improve my thinking.
And it improves by observation, Jerome.
As well. You got to observe to have something to know what's real or not. And how do I know that? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you so much. Ghulam Hussain, coding wala, please introduce yourself and ask your question. Make sure you are clear.
Hey, so my name is Ghulam Kodingwala, student at Rehan School Online Academy, Foundation Level Band 6. I am 13 years old, living in Karachi, Pakistan. So my question was, what skill do you think will matter the most in the next 10 to 20 years?
Well, that's basically what I just answered. The most important skill is reasoning, learning logic, thinking, being able to critically discern what is true and what is false, what is real and what is not real, because there's going to be so much artificial reality created through the internet and artificial intelligence. It's going to be hard for you to know what's the truth. So using your brain to think, I would still say, is the most important skill. Like learning a little bit about philosophy, how you know something, and why do you think that way of knowing is really good?
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you,
Thank you,
Ghulam
sir, Jerome,
Hussain.
for
I have a question, but
answering my
here
question.
the reaction option is not showing.
Okay, Muhammad Hassan, I'll give you the chance. Please wait for a second, Muhammad. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Ikra Freelancing Wali, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Yes, sir, sure. Um, Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, Sir Jerome, I would like to welcome you to Rehan School Online Academy, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ikra Freelancing Wali, and I am the head of Rehan School Online Academy Interviews Department. So, my question is to you is that, like in your country, which skill do you think is most valuable in your country?
I hate to keep repeating myself, but reasoning is the most important skill, because AI is going to be the skill master for you. It can do your coding for you. It can say, give me the history of Pakistan in 2 pages or something like that. So, and a lot of the different skills, it boils down to your using, how you use artificial. Well, how you use it is your thinking. It's your brain that uses the AI. So improving brain functioning and becoming more intelligent. There are ways to improve intelligence. Nutrition, exercise, believing is possible. And that's even something you can ask AI. After this interview, you can ask AI, how can I improve my brain functioning? What are the different techniques? How do I improve reasoning? That's just as valid in the United States as it is Pakistan, because we're entering a world that's quite different. In the past, to make a factory took a lot of time, and not everybody built the factories in the sequence. They started in the United Kingdom. The Industrial Revolution began in Scotland and England, right? But it took a while for all that to move around the world. But that's not the case with artificial intelligence. And innovation in one place can be duplicated simultaneously worldwide. Simultaneously. So like we all are together, Pakistan, the United States, we are together with AI changing our future. We're together on that. So the skills that we need to develop, the same kind of skills of thinking. However, what you think may be different than another person. That's because you're in a different environment, different language, different history, all kinds of different things. But the abstract skill of reasoning, of thinking, what is real? How do I know that? What is that real? How do I know that? What's an important question? Why is this question more important than this question? And the ultimate one is, who am I? What do I want to do? So using your brain is the most important skill, whether it's the United States or Pakistan.
Great. Apologies for repeating question, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ikram. Thank you. Thank you, Jerome. Last question from Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Okay, hello, Sir Jerome and everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammad Hassan Komraswala. I am 12 years old from Ahmedpur district, Jang, Pakistan. Today, I am very happy to meet with you. My question is today, in today's world, AI world, which career should we choose for our future?
Which what?
Which career should we choose for the future?
In AI world.
Good. The career you should choose is yourself. The more you know about your abilities, your interests, your curiosity, what makes you you, and then how do you connect? That's the first part. The second part is then how do you connect that to others around the whole world? And learning that skill of connecting around the world is also like a sub skill as well. So I would say the most important job is you. Think of yourself in business. There's a term called a holding company. A holding company is a company that holds other companies. All right. So each of you are a holding company. You know, you may be part musician, you might be part writer, you may be part explorer. You know, there's many different parts of you, right? So think of yourself as a holding company. And then each one of these sub companies has a market. Where is it? Out of the whole world. How many people are interested? And so you develop yourself as your own job, as a holding company, and connect to markets with all those interests that you have worldwide.
Thank you. Thank you, Muhammad, for your
Thank
question.
you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Jerome, for answering me and giving me your some important time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And on behalf of Rehan School System and Rehan Alawala Sahab, Jerome Glenn, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your generosity and kindness and the information, the pearls of wisdom you have shared with us, with all the students. Thank you so much, Jerome. Thank you.
Thank you. Shukran.
I hope you enjoyed this session.
Yes, I did. All right. And do good work in the future.
Inshallah. Thank you, Jerome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. I hope you enjoyed this session. You learned so many new things from Jerome about the future of AI. I hope we should be optimistic and we should play our part in the future. Hopefully, everything goes fine. If we learn how to reason, like Jerome said, reasoning we should learn. And to learn how things are in reality. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone who's been watching us on this on our YouTube channel through this live stream. Thank you so much. I'll see you in another session with another guest. Take care of yourself. Right. Good night from now. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Sir Ahmed. Thank you so much, Sir Jerome. Allah Hafiz.